Welcome to the Hops and Stocks podcast, brought to you by Hunter Spoke Media Group. Today we'll be reviewing 4 beers from all around the country. I believe we have some Berliner Weiss, a Stout, some sours.
I got a brown ale.
You said a brown ale?
Yeah.
We're hoping to have a special guest on this evening to talk finances with us, John Lumpkin. Let's go ahead and get it started off with what you drinking tonight.
All right. I'm going to pass it to the next person because I ain't poured up yet, but whoever's poured up, go ahead and set it off.
I'm not poured up, but I was poured up on Saturday. I do not enjoy what's in this can.
What is that?
This is called Urban Artifact.
Oh, okay.
It's called Astronaut Food by Urban Artifact. It's a blackberry and raspberry freeze-dried fruit tart ale.
Pour it in a glass so we can see what it looks like.
You're gonna drink it again.
I didn't. Hold on. You want me to crack it?
I want to see what it looks good.
So you ain't even trying to sip it again?
No.
You trying to get rid of them? You trying to get rid of them?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, this is a $30 4-pack.
Oh,
8
wow.
ounce. 8 ounces.
But what's the draw? What's the draw on it? Like, why are they able to sell it for like that?
I think the lure was the $30. So it's like,
oh yeah,
$30.
It must be good if it's $30. Yeah,
it's intriguing. Just like when Nipsey sold his mixtape for $100, people bought it.
Yeah.
But the ABV is pretty high too, though, right?
The ABV is 15.
Oh wow!
And that was another.
You getting smacked off of that little can.
It has too much sour bite to it, in my opinion. I mean, it hit you all up in here, man.
You like sour?
Yeah, I like sour. So I was with B-Dub this past weekend. We got to sample some brews and whatnot, and I tried it, and I didn't think it was terrible. I don't believe it was worth the $30 for a 4-pack, so I wouldn't buy it at that price point. But it wasn't terrible. But I like sours and I like tart beers, so it didn't really turn me off.
So B-Dub, it gets how many mugs out of 5 mugs?
I'm gonna give this a 2-mug rating.
Oh wow.
Two's not bad. Two's not bad.
2, and that's me being generous. 2 mugs.
Yeah.
I would not purchase this brew again. I did not like I said before, I did not like what's in this can. I didn't like the way it hit my pocket.
Right.
And if anybody wants to buy this off me, you're more than welcome.
Well, I bought a single. I'm gonna taste mine, and I gotta get it for a discount though. You know what I mean? You ain't gonna be trying to flip it.
You gonna sell it to me for like 20. I'm like,
oh, what? Well, if y'all don't mind, I'll go ahead and go next.
Yeah, how about it, man?
Man, this is delicious. It's the double strawberry Imperial Smoothie by Untitled Art. Some of the notes that you hit with are the Berlinger style Weiss ale, if I'm saying that right, brewed with strawberry, lemon, and passion fruit. And you really get the lemon and the passion fruit. It's a great mix. This is what it kind of looks like in my kill cup.
Yeah, okay.
And when I first sampled it, I'm like, man, this is delicious. There's something that may come after it that's even better. But I think UA did a real good job on this one. I would probably give it how many out of 5, right?
Yeah, I think you said out of 5.
This is a clear 4.5 for real.
Ooh,
nice.
I think that might be so far.
I mean, you can smell the notes. It's 8%.
It's 8%?
Yeah, 8%.
It's kind of funny.
It's really delicious.
Kind of funny. The first 2 brews we did were both UAs, but it's 2 different UAs. B-Dub's is Urban Artifact out of the Natty, and Doug's is Urban Arts. Is that right? Urban Arts?
Untitled
Arts out of Wisconsin.
So I did not know it was out of Cincinnati. I did not know that.
Yeah.
It's a church. I mean, for those of y'all familiar with Cincy, it's a church on the north side. A lot of people really seem to like, like what they make. I'm not a huge fan of the sour and the tart beers.
Do they? Is that what they're known for? Tart style beer?
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know,
man.
everything I've ever heard them make is, in
They're
that
brewing. They're brewing beer right next to a school, man. Giving the kids jig on the way home.
And
Hey, kids,
it's like
this jig.
It's another beer spot right across the street from there. I can't think of the name of it.
That's crazy how they convert churches into, anything nowadays. Remember that church down on Calhoun? At the end, as soon as you get on Calhoun, that church has been converted to something.
Oh, word?
We used to do car washes there for some fundraisers, but yeah, that's not even the church anymore. You know what I'm talking about, Billy?
It used to be next to Prime Time.
Yeah, across the street from Hard to Knock Life, or whatever, or Hard to Knock Fashions.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. So, your opinion of the strawberry, Billy, you didn't like it?
To me, it was a good beer. I mean, I'm gonna drink the 4-pack that I did purchase.
Right.
To me, it wasn't anything that I haven't tasted from other offerings from Untitled Art.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. They stayed in the pocket, man. They stayed in the pocket, but
yeah, I mean
I enjoy it.
It's a safe brew, like if somebody offered it to me, I drink it.
What's the percent on that one, Doug?
8%.
Oh, that's nice.
I tried that one this weekend too. I liked it. It didn't wow me though. When I first seen it, when you first posted the picture, and that's one thing that Untitled Art does really, really well. They captivate you with they social media. So if somebody, or even with their artwork on their cans, but a lot of times the social media, they really stage their beers really well. And it's like, man, you can almost taste that mug through the post. You're like, I got it.
Yeah. You start running wild in your mind, like, oh, it's gonna taste like this.
Yeah, like so sometimes. For me, a lot of times they hit it. Sometimes it's a miss, and you're like, damn, they got me. But no, I like what they do as far as their social media, how they stage a lot of their beers. I love their artwork, and the fact that they collab with a lot of people. So you're always getting something different out of those guys.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off of that, like as well as the visuals of the cans, the name of the actual beer is what grabs me every time.
Yeah.
Until you crack that can, it's like,
yeah. But what I noticed, a lot of it is like marketing and how well you can present your product. And these breweries who do a good job, who collab with some good marketing people, who are able to present their product. They may get the first shot at your money, but you won't keep going back unless it tastes good. And I think Untitled Art has done well of making it taste well enough where you keep going back, because I don't care how fancy the damn can is, the shit ain't tasting good. So maybe that's it. Maybe I wasn't disappointed. So since I'm not disappointed, I just think it's the shit. But it tastes good to me.
I think that's part of their marketing strategy. Like as far as I think they do it on purpose, as far as coming out with the beer and not making a lot of them. And they sell out quick, so you're always anticipating the next batch.
Right. That's smart.
They're making it gets you coming back. It's not necessarily the beer. It's like maybe you had this one, it didn't taste so well, and so you're waiting for the next one and see if it tastes better. And it's like almost addictive, man.
Yeah, it's like an arms race. We'd be rushing to get them joints, and then show who got it and who ain't got it. Mm-hmm. Taste it first.
I don't even think they have a standard beer. Like I think everything that they do is like one-offs. I've seen some repeaters come back. Like I know the triple hazy IPA. I've seen a couple of variations of that, but I want some certain people have just, this is a standard beer. I can go to the store and get this every single time. They seem to collab, and every single time they putting out something different.
I wish they would have a staple beer.
Or a couple staples, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. There's a couple that I would love to see in rotation,
like all that pineapple.
Time. That pineapple, that peanut butter stout, that blood orange, that guava. That blood orange sweet and sour was good. But then again, that may prevent me from buying other things because I would probably literally just, given the
Keep
price
going
point,
back.
yeah, I would
And
probably just keep going back.
if they mass produced it, it seemed like you would have a different appreciation for it. See, now it's kind of scarce, so you have to savor that beer. You like, man, I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna get it again, so I'm gonna savor this beer.
Right.
If it's mass produced, you were like, man, I can get this anytime. I mean,
And see, and if it gets mass produced, their price will come down. And I think that's the lure too. Because you're spending $18 for a 4-pack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes maybe $20.
I wonder who else be in the store snatching it up, like other than us.
oh yeah,
It'd be gone, like y'all said.
Yeah.
that
I'm
strawberry was the last one.
I'm in a couple beer groups down
I'm the
here.
only one drinking, man. I mean,
Bro,
what's going on, man?
I have literally sipped every time I talk.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
pouring up.
You gotta pour something else up. If you don't like that, B-Dub, you gotta get something else in your hand, man.
I'm in some Nashville beer groups down here, and it's a race to the store when certain things drop. Untitled Art. There's another brewery, Pontoon. People go wild behind that. Was it 450 or something brewing? But when you walk into the when you walk into the bottle shop, it's so many different brews, man. So it's not like you're gonna go in there and be like, oh damn, I missed out, because you're always gonna find something. There's 90% of the time you haven't had everything that's in there.
Yeah,
well, actually, probably higher percentage than that.
Man, 100% of the time.
100% of the time.
I don't know how long it would take me to drink everything in my spot.
Yeah, we're part of this one group. We're part of this one group called HH Honey Hole. And in this group, you know, we walk in and we talk to the guy. We ask them for recommendations. They take our money. We leave with beer.
Man,
that's what happens.
Our beer concierge.
That's our group. I'm getting other people a part of it, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Big Carib, he'll stop by HH and see what's up.
Oh, he don't have his own spot.
Nah, man. He's part of the group.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, man, we need to go down there, man. I wish we could present some numbers, man, because I know we've bought them so much business, man.
I just want to circle back around, man. I'm a strawberry lemonade fan. Like, I like strawberry lemonade, and when I drink this, that's what I get. I get a strawberry lemonade with a little kick of, you know what I mean, the brew. So that's why I'm sold on it, man. I mean, you know
what?
really.
I might go revisit that right now, man.
Hey, B-Dub, on that 15%er, did the 15% actually hit you? Did you feel that?
So the 15% in a UA, normally it's in a stout, you can taste that extra jig off top.
Yeah.
This ain't like that.
Did it have you where you needed to be after one?
Well, I split it 3 ways.
Ah, okay, I got you.
And mind you, it's 8 ounces. It's 8 ounces.
Ah, okay, yeah.
I only got about this much,
Okay.
Yeah. But when we talk about honey holes, they like some cats prize possessions. They don't want other cats knowing where their honey hole is. they don't want. It's almost like your girl. You don't want other cats touching on your girl. So
yes.
Tell them what you did though. E.
I know.
I see some pictures. I see some pictures of some honey hole.
Yeah. Funny story is, so I was down and dating this weekend, and I'm just gonna flash this picture real quick as to protect the integrity of the honey hole. And so B-Dub has a spot that, only he feel like he allowed to go to. I'm standing outside of this spot and I take a picture real quick and I send this man this picture of his honey hole. And he knows how I do when I go to a beer spot. I'm trying to clear the shelf, especially if it's some stuff that I can't get back home. If it's something that I'm checking for and stuff I can't get back home, then yeah, I get a couple 4s.
Yeah, I've heard you clear shelves, man.
Yeah, man.
I kind of feel B-Dub's pain, man. Like he's the only one in Dayton, man. It seems like his hole should be to himself, man.
Yeah, man.
Me and Doug have ours down here. You've got the run of the mill in Nashville. There's no need for you to be raiding the man's hole in Dayton.
Right.
No need.
Hey man, you raiding that man's hole.
For the record, no one's rated my whole.
Hey man, I think we got the
Yeah, you guys are about to make a difficult job for me with this editing session.
nah, man. I think we have the title of tonight's episode though.
What? Nah,
You took a picture. You took a picture of your hole.
It's called Hole.
It's in it to you.
It's called Hole Invader.
Oh man,
That's so disrespectful, man.
It was.
Flossing around your hole. He's flossing around that hole.
Hey,
Just send you a picture of it.
Doug, I immediately called him. I called him.
Yeah, he did. This dude never calls me. He never calls me.
I doubt him up.
hey man, when you post these podcasts, man, there's a button where you have to check explicit or non-explicit. I think we might have to hit explicit for this episode.
Man, we ain't said nothing yet.
Man, there's been some really. I mean, B-Dub had to set the record straight about his hole.
All right, I'm a
Yeah,
so-
moving on.
let's move on. Let's get this thing going. So when we talk about, earlier we mentioned about artwork, and I ain't gonna lie, this is one that I bought solely on the artwork. I looked at it, I was like, damn, that's a clean looking can. So this is I don't know if they're pronounced Ology or Ology. I think it's Ology. They're out of Tallahassee, Florida, and this is a Berliner style ale with passion fruit, called Singularity of Passion. I like it. It's really good, light, crisp. Typically, I go crazy for ABV, but as you can see, that's only 4.5.
Yeah, okay.
And a lot of people, they look down on beers that ain't, 7%, 10%, because of the price point. You like, man, if I'm spending, $18 on a 4-pack, I want something that's gonna get me righteous. You know what I'm saying? Something in the 7s, 8s. But this is nice, man. The passion fruit comes through, and then with your Berliners, it's gonna be your lighter style type beer. So I could see me drinking this chilling at the pool or something like that. I would give it a 4. I think Untapped had it like a 3.6, but if you don't like tarts, and sours, this is not gonna be for you, because it's both of those. But this is something I could definitely see sitting around a pool drinking.
Yeah, I like those Berliners. I've had a couple in my day. I enjoy the like you said, the lighter flavor. It's a good spring summery drink.
I think once you get past 10% on a beer, you start messing with the taste of the beer. Like 12, 14, 15, that's high. It just like that, to me, like they sacrifice the taste for a higher ABV.
What was that first UA that was 15? I loved it. It was one of those. Yeah. Y'all kept talking about the jig taste, but excuse me, I thought that was really good. Like that mug was fire, to be honest.
Yeah, I think to clarify for the listeners, man, when we talk about the jig taste, we're talking about, having a nice beer and it almost tasting like someone put a shot of, whatever in it, and it kind of gives it that sting. And, some of us are, not really fond of that. We call it the jig taste.
Yeah.
Jig in large quantities.
Well, I welcome the jig taste. And speaking of welcome John Lumpkin with the Lumpkin and Lumpkin group.
Hey man, appreciate it.
What's going on, man?
Apologize for being late. I'm still walking in from practice, man.
Oh man.
Are you good?
No problem.
I gotta roll this rim in right here. How y'all fellas doing, man?
What's going on, brother?
Well, go ahead and get settled. Hey John, go ahead and get settled. We're gonna finish this part of the podcast with the brews, and we'll bring you in afterward. So go ahead and get settled.
You know I'm not a beer guy, man. Y'all gotta have a bourbon day, man.
Right.
Y'all gotta have a bourbon day.
There you go. You see those?
Yeah, that's where it's at right there, man.
Yeah.
Beer's all empty calories, man. Bourbon, that's good drinking. Yo, let me give me 1 second, brothers. I'll be with y'all just a
All right,
second.
we'll finish up. All right, we'll see you soon.
All right, I'm gonna finish up mine. I got this beer from Sonder, Mason, Ohio. It's called Coconut Tears. I think y'all can see it a little bit with my funny background or whatever. It's called a brown ale. It says it's got cocoa, vanilla, and toasted coconut. And the ABV on this joint is 5.8. When they say brown ale, they ain't lying, man. This probably look black to y'all, but it's like a dark chocolate or whatever. But it's really good, man. It ain't overly coconutty. It reminds me of something, but I can't, put my finger on it right now. But it's really tasty, man. I'd like to have it, as a house brew. I think it's a solid 3.5, 4. I wouldn't mind, cracking it and watching the game or whatever.
That's a good cosign. How long have you had that? How long have you been sitting on that beer? How long? When did you buy it?
Maybe a month ago, something like that.
The Sonder come back to their beers? Do they have a standard line, or are they always rotating?
I don't know. I haven't dealt with them long enough to know. I think they do have a standard line of like IPAs and stuff like that. But
they have a lager. They have a lager that I've had.
As far as some of the stuff we've been introducing, I don't know if they rotated or what.
Their lager was good. I mean, the lager was very good. It remind me of Coors Light.
Cheers.
Yeah.
I mean, a Coors Light, like on steroids, but it's still a Coors Light.
Cheers. But
let me go pour up, man, because
now I saw that y'all have been talking highly about Sonder. So when I was back in the city this past weekend, I picked up a couple of their offerings. I got that Mela, which is, I believe, some sort of passion fruit.
I saw that in the store today. I didn't pick one up, but yeah.
Sound good. Was it sour? Sour passion fruit?
Let me grab it.
Yeah, I think I've seen that today as well. So back to this fancy background you have, Diggs.
Yeah, so it's
what's on the shelves back there? Yeah, I seen that one.
Yeah,
I was gonna get that one. Sour always.
I like sours.
The word sour will turn me off because I'll come home and have to put some sugar in it for real.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Remember those one brews we was putting a little sugar in?
Yeah. Which one was that?
Oh no, it was too tart, man. I had to thin it out with some sugar.
It might have been the peach for me.
Speaking of peach, man, the second line of peach that UA has.
Yeah, I got that one.
Oh, you do? That's delicious, man.
I got that one and the strawberry based off of. I know I got the peach off of your recommendation, and I think I heard a couple of y'all say the strawberry was straight, so I got that too.
Yeah.
I got the peach, but I ain't cracked it yet.
The peach is better. Peach is better than the strawberry for mine. The second coming, because they already had a peach out.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if we want to even go into another.
We can
review,
save that for the next one.
Yeah, I mean, we had the first peach on for the first review, I think.
Yeah, and I gave it a good rating, but this one is even better, man. I mean, what they've done to the second round of peaches, phenomenal. Yeah, I'm gonna stop reviewing UA, man. I'm gonna review something different next
man. Well, it's the reason why I always try to grab something different, because I know it's a good chance that one of y'all gonna do UA. So I'm like, man, let me just stay away from the UA and just try to find something different. Yeah. But I think it is about peach season, right? Because I think the peach truck be coming around here, and like you can get all the fresh peaches, the peach jam, and all that.
Yeah, word.
Yeah,
that's a nice pour. That's a good pour.
Hey man, that looks delicious. That hefty ass mug.
Yeah, my I can't even say it. We're recording.
We got Lump back.
All right, has everybody previewed their works?
Yeah.
I think we all gone over the.
So let me introduce to everyone. We have a special guest. Excuse me for eating. I'm just off the golf course, so I'm a little hungry. So
excuse me for having this Gatorade because I've been chasing children around.
Oh, that's good, man. Well, we have John Lumpkin. He's a Trotwood alum, Ohio State alum. He played football and basketball for Ohio State. He's also a member of the prestigious and the notorious and the illustrious Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. He is my distant sans, and he's here to talk to us about, he's a financial advisor. So all the knowledge that he has about those things. He's going to. Yeah, I heard he's going to correct what we've been saying wrong about a lot of things. So we welcome that, and we welcome the conversation. So Hops and Stocks, welcome John Lumpkin. John Lumpkin, how you doing today, man?
What's going on, Lump? Thank you for joining us.
No, I appreciate y'all having me, man.
Get you a glass of bourbon, man, and pour up.
Man, you trying to have me just pass out, man.
Oh, okay, never mind. Never mind.
Start drinking.
I gotta have a little bit of settle down time before I just jump right in. Like I said, right now I'm straight on this. What is it? Kiwi Strawberry Zero Gatorade.
Oh.
I see Billy's drinking a V8 over there or something.
He's drinking one of these, man. We gotta get you on, Lump. We gotta get you onto the Untitled Art, man.
Man, if I see y'all talking about beer, man, if y'all can find one that I like, man, because I haven't tried everything, man. All these craft brew places around, man, I had all these different flavors. I've accepted I'm not a beer guy.
Yeah,
so this entire group, these guys used to say the exact same thing until I started putting them on some different stuff.
That's true.
That you're wrong. That you're wrong about. I've always been enjoyed my beer. You didn't put me on anything, but carry on.
We had to keep Billy off of it when he was a sophomore in high school so he could finish football practice. Yeah.
I stand correct.
Special brews.
Blast did dabble in craft brew.
Yeah.
Speaking of special brews, did y'all know that St. Ives has an album?
What?
They had an album out. Ice
Cube. With all the old cuts?
Huh?
With all them old commercial cuts?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Scarface on there, Snoop Dogg on there. It's on
St.
YouTube.
Ives.
Look it up.
And it might be okay with all those people on there, but I was side-eyeing it at first.
Hey, so Lump, what was your take on this Dodge coin going up? Do you dabble? Do you recommend a little Bitcoin?
Before we jump into something, let's let Lump give his background and talk about his business.
Yeah, for compliance reasons, I don't give the firm, but I am I'm with a Fortune 500 firm. Came from another Fortune 500 firm. You'll see both of them all over everything. But I've been in the financial services industry for the last, it's probably been almost 20 years now. From the insurance side to the banking side, into the investment side. And that's where I've been in the investment side for the last 14, 15 years. So, I manage funds for.
I'll drink to that.
Yes. I manage funds for individuals, foundations, corporations. So pretty much anybody that's got some money, we can find somewhere to put it for them. We assess risk, man. That's what we do. We assess risk, and we try to put people into their risk tolerance and try to maximize what they can return, give for a return. Recommendation wise are all individuals. If you throw out some, I will caution anybody when there's blanket recommendations, you should be wary of them, because there's 5 of us right here talking right now. All 5 of us have different things that we're dealing with. We got different family situations, different house situations. So if I'm making a blanket recommendation, it's going to be wrong for somebody. Everything should be specialized. Out of all my clients,
I got to correct you because it looks like you have a mansion recommendation or something.
That's some different architecture back there,
right?
Man.
You know what I mean? So you do have a different house, but I would have to say it maybe refers a mansion.
Yeah, I'm what we call house poor, man. I built this bad boy at interesting story. Built our home and had to wait to fire the contractor, and then I actually literally built this house myself. It wasn't even finished being framed. I had to throw people off my property, and I remember that. I wear a suit. Yeah, I wear a suit, man. And then these dudes had the nerve to they let it fool them one day, and they came here and talked crazy to me in my house. Like, oh, I said, hold on just a second. take my suit off, took my coat off, and I was like, say that again to my face.
Wow.
And
These
they
were
were
the
like,
these were the contractors?
man, these were some dudes that were some plumbers, man, and they had me twisted. They had me confused as like some stuff shirt. I was like, man, I would choke you to death. I said, I don't get yelled at in general. And I said, but you damn sure ain't gonna yell at me in my house. So who's working with him? Get y'all shit and get the up off my property.
I mean, was this guy like 7 feet? John, you're like 6'8", man. Like, what the hell?
It was the suit, man. He was like, oh, this dude, he's thinking, here's this rich guy that shows up. Not, oh, here's this West Side dating Trotwood dude that's gonna choke him if he say something crazy. Right. And everybody else fell in line after that.
I mean, you should have just pulled out the O State jersey. I would have thought, cats would have stepped back after that.
Nah, man, it was beyond trying to be amicable. I mean, I can't come in your house and just yell at you all crazy. You can be like, oh man, look, lost his mind, and we know each other. You really not gonna let a stranger come up,
right? And I'm supposed to be giving you money, like you're in my pocket talking crazy,
right? And everybody was paid on time, so. But yeah, but back to what I was saying, recommendation. Well, you just got to be careful on that when you're taking blanket recommendations because people don't know your personal situation. Yeah. There's some general information that can be out there for some things, and and it's this crypto thing. Everybody is there's a craze going on right now. I have my personal opinions about it. There's professional opinions about it. Me personally, when I look at something that's new to the market, it's going to be exciting. People are going to want to be inside of it. I think more so than the currency is the technology behind the currency. Right. I mean, the blockchain. Yeah, the blockchain technology is something that is it's incredibly secure. So much so that it's that there are people who are fearful of it because you can go out and buy just about anything, and no one knows who bought it because the encryptions and everything in there are just so superb that it is. I mean, it's one of the most secure things ever. Now the currency piece that is driving it, like your Bitcoins, Doge coins, Ethereum, and I mean, there's a whole bunch of them that are out there. They've seen some tremendous growth, but like if you look at Bitcoin, where it had 60% or something like that, I think upwards of 60% of the cryptocurrency market share, and then within a couple of weeks it dropped below 50 because all these other things started getting introduced. Right. There's and then in my world, you talk about regulations. Like right now, there's a whole bunch of regulations and stuff around those, and it's the wild, wild west. And then once regulations do come, because they will eventually.
But how are they going to come, Lump? How are they going to come? And it's an international currency.
Well, it's an international. Well, because you're just now getting to the point where you can buy something with Bitcoin or Ethereum or something.
Well, you heard about those athletes requesting to get paid in Bitcoin. There was a couple of athletes in the news. Yeah. Who was it, Blast and E?
I know Russell Okung from I believe he played for either the Panthers or Seattle at one time.
Oh, okay.
He took half of it.
I think that's crazy. Like
6.5 million. And then Blast sent somebody the other day. He was I believe he played for the Kansas City Chiefs. He took his salary.
Linebacker, I believe, requested his whole salary in Bitcoin or whatever.
Yeah.
What about?
And then we was looking at Joe Burrow signed an endorsement deal with a.
I thought that was Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence. With
that's interesting, man.
Some sort of digital currency type of platform, and his endorsement payments were going to be in whatever type of coins. They didn't really specify. So.
Well, and I mean, here's the thing with those. Like when you look at it right now, Bitcoin is worth because it's being publicly traded. Somebody's being publicly traded. Now, the one thing that I would caution people on when you're getting paid in cryptocurrency, right now, every time you cash out some cryptocurrency, you're creating a taxable event and a capital gain, which if, again, this is where regulations come in. Like if capital gains, like right now, long-term capital gains are capped. But who's to say how they're treating your Bitcoin? If you're an athlete, let's just say you're an athlete, you're a brand new guy, and you get a $10 million signing bonus. Like, oh yeah, give me all of that in Bitcoin. Well, you got to wait 365 days before that's long-term capital gains. For if you just want to take out $25 to get, to go get something get something to eat. So you have to take those things into consideration.
Do you have to realize
makes sense. That makes sense.
entire thing? Do you have to realize that entire amount if you wanted to withdraw just $25?
No, you just realize the capital gain on that 25. So like if you got, and then they break, Bitcoin and all these things. Like, I mean, it costs $52,000 for a single Bitcoin. So I mean, trading it in dollars less than that, you're doing partial shares and all those things, but there's still capital gain. I mean, it's going to be, accountants are going to have accountants going to get rich, because everything that, when people start saying, well, just pay me in Bitcoin, they're doing all their transactions, and all those capital gains, those transactions and everything. Accountants are just, I mean, I might change professions. I just go
Wow.
because
I didn't think about that. I did not think about that.
Yeah, because I mean, it's going to be a ridiculous, like, I don't know how you got, like, even in my tax return, because of my some of the investment portfolios I have. I mean, I got a booklet of things that come, from some of the investments that I have. Man, if you start doing every transaction that you make, like as soon as they have like a, because now they have where you can go and withdraw funds from ATMs that, cash in your Bitcoin, and you'll have debit cards and stuff with Bitcoin. Man, all those things are capital gains. And then, I mean, and are they short term? So if you're a new guy that just got paid and that, everything is short term capital gains.
Yeah.
Because listen, so there's one thing. Then the other thing, what if all the, yes, it's an international way of currency and everything. What if all the major economies in the world were just like, you know what, we ain't accepting that.
Yeah,
because we don't like it.
One argument that I had heard against cryptocurrency is that it could never replace the quote unquote dollar, because no one would want to be paid based upon that fluctuation of Bitcoin. So I know we hear about all these athletes taking that salary. So today that salary may be worth 6.5 million, but if the bottom drop out of Bitcoin, that salary could be worth 6.5. So if you bring it down to your common man, hey, pay me in Bitcoin, I make $100,000 on Tuesday, but Bitcoin dropped, and now I'm only making $60,000.
Yeah.
He said people are never going to buy into that.
Well, I mean, never is a strong term. I mean, as technology keeps going on, people might do different things, and there might be some things to stabilize currencies. I mean, there's that's a very valid point. But the thing is, if someone is paying you in that, they're going to pay you at that, what it is what it's rated at, or what it cost at that point in time. So like right now, let's just say Bitcoin is $50,000 a Bitcoin, and you get paid $100,000 a year, you get 2 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But like next week, in 2 weeks, it's like what you say, like in 2 weeks, it could be like, oh, well, Bitcoin bottom fell out. It's only $25,000 a Bitcoin. So
you
now
think
you get 4 Bitcoin. And I mean, but it's like, the value in the, in that, in the open market.
So do you think that there would be a way to lock in at a certain price, just like you lock in an interest rate, right? Like when you're buying a home, you say, hey, I want 2.5% or 3.9%, whatever you lock in at, then the mortgage company can't go up or down on it because you locked in. Do you think there'll be a way to lock in a Bitcoin?
Yeah, that's different though, because you're borrowing and you're paying something back over time. Wasn't it, with Bitcoin, locking in something, like you can't lock in. That's like saying that there'll be no inflation or deflation. Like you can't.
Everything's based on that.
Yeah, we get paid in dollars right now. There's inflation and deflation. Let's face it. Like 10 years ago, our $100 doesn't buy the same thing that it buys today.
Right.
There's, you can't, like now. Don't get me wrong. They're locking in like a loan. They're locking in 10 years ago, and they're saying, hey, that's what the rates are at this point in time. The banks are hoping that the rates don't rise. Because then if they do, people are like, rates are going to go up. I got a pretty good rate on my mortgage. I'm not going to refinance it if it goes up. But like if rates are like ridiculously low, how they are now, and I can get it down to 2%, then that's what we're going to do. Now, the financial institutions know there's always going to be people that need to borrow money. So even though rates may drop out or rates may rise, and they've got all these people in these low interest things, they've also restructured themselves to where all of their debt and everything is in lower interest. So as it moves forward and the rates raise, their cash, it's like how companies are right now.
Right. So they pretty much just sell that paper off though. Like once they collect all that paper, they'll sell it off and they'll start over. Yeah.
They'll start over, and then because there's always consumers. That's just how our society is set up. Like how our society set up wouldn't work like a United Arab Emirates or something where they don't believe in interest in borrowing and stuff like that, where they're a cash society, but they're wealthy in certain things.
Because they have all the oil, man. They just cash out. They buy these Lambos. Well, they buy like 4 or 5 Lambos at a time.
But it's cultural though. It's a cultural thing with their religion. They don't believe in that interest. Like, wait a minute, I got $5. I give you $5. What do you mean I'm gonna give you? I've got $5. I'm gonna give you 12 if I keep it for long. Like,
that's banking. That's banking though. That's the gist of banking. So they don't believe in banking.
No, they believe in banking. They just don't believe in borrowing in the terms of how we do. Like our society is based on credit and access to capital and things. Theirs is not. Theirs is not. And that's why they can make a killing and stuff over here, because it's just like, so they're like, oh, wait a minute. What do you mean? I can get this money right now for free and I don't have to give you anything? And then,
but you know what? If I was floating on oil, I probably wouldn't want to borrow either. You know what I mean? Their whole country's floating on oil.
Yeah, I mean, until oil is no longer needed. It's just, again, that's why I say never is such a strong term. Who would have thought we'd ever have a car that is just straight electricity?
Right.
And then, Cadillac just said, in 2029, that's it. Wasn't it? No more combustible engines for Escalades. They're gonna be all electric. So as the world starts to,
but you know what? Until I start seeing some airplanes on electric, it's gonna be a need for crude oil. Yeah, crude oil is gonna be out there for a while.
Yeah, but it'll be so diminished. That's the thing. It's like right now, because they found, if you go back to, we're this kind of off topic, but if you go back to when oil was like skyrocketing, as oil started to increase per barrel. The oil companies found out after they get past a certain point, a bunch of these alternative fuel companies and stuff start springing up out of the ground, and people start looking for alternatives because it's too expensive. So they brought the prices back down to squash some of that, that anxiety. Because a lot of people think all the money is in oil. That's not where the money actually is. The money is in the extraction of the oil.
Right.
So, if as long as you're paying for people to get the oil out of the ground, they don't ever have to send it to market. I mean, it's, because that's where the money is being made. So it's,
So they'll sit on those barrels. They'll just sit on them barrels.
They'll sit on because they're paying for them to take it out of the ground. But then if you get just imagine like an economy like the United States and China, just those two alone, if they just went to half of their vehicles being electric vehicles,
they'll take a hit.
I mean, it'll devastate that industry. I mean,
the gas prices will go down.
Yeah, but then you won't be able to find a car that runs on gas.
We'll be back to 99-cent gallons. I can fill up the Cordoba.
Right.
Wow, that's interesting, man. That's interesting. That's a very good take on two or three different topics.
Did you have something you wanted to chime in with?
You said me?
Yeah, I thought you was trying to get in on one of them.
It slipped my mind. I'll come back to it if I remember it.
It's that beer he drinking, man. Can't remember.
I'm drinking 4.5. This is juice over here. So John, are you currently advising clients as it relates to Bitcoin?
Yes. Yeah, we are advising clients. And a lot of people, it's interesting, and people are like, and it's hot. So a lot of people ask the question and they want to get into certain things, and it just depends on what their risk tolerance is. Some people, quite frankly, have no business in anything like that because of the uncertainty.
Yeah.
Some people, for portions of their portfolio, it makes sense for them to do some different things. It's just a matter of, like I said, the individual. But we do advise on those different things. And there's my daughter.
Yeah. Hey, daughter, how you doing? Welcome to the Hops and Stocks podcast.
How you doing? And for you, it'd be Pops and Stocks.
Pops.
Y'all got anything else y'all want to touch base with Lump while we got him here?
I mean, it's an interesting economy out there, man. Just like with the talk now of changing the capital gains tax to pay for some of this infrastructure bill. Typically when you have Democratic office administrations, you have more regulation. So some of those things are happening. But then, you look at the healthy balance sheets of a lot of these companies, like it's really fascinating to see how this last year has gone with the pandemic, and how the government has stepped in on some things, and how some places have been able to remain afloat. It'll be interesting to see how these small and mid-sized businesses come out of these things, because they really did get ignored.
I heard some of your clients were upset that you didn't push that GameStop on them like you should have.
I'll tell you what, the GameStop thing, what's funny about that is, and this is completely by chance, because if you look at GameStop and look at their business model and their profit and earnings and all those things, I mean, it's a terrible business model. I mean, it was, it's bad business model, failing thing. Is lots of brick and mortar retail stores that are in, a lot of them were located in malls, which are, I mean, you couldn't pick a worse business model, I think, in the current time. And then there was a pandemic. But this is completely by chance. My son, his one thing is, he said he wants to own a video game company when he's older, which I'm like, all right, it's fine. My daughter loves Starbucks, so we're doing something wrong in here that I got kids that want Starbucks. But so
delicious, man. You know what? Starbucks is going to start taking Bitcoin as a payment.
Yeah, they're gonna have to start taking some, because the stock is killing me right now, because they overbuilt Starbucks when they first came out. I mean,
you know what? McDonald's really put a hit, because they started coming out with those gourmet coffees and stuff like that, really competing with Starbucks.
Well, but Starbucks thing was they overbuilt. They went gangbusters, and they had a I don't know if any of you've been to Boston. When I played the Patriots, we were in around the Boston area, and there's a Dunkin' Donuts across the street from a Dunkin' Donuts, and Starbucks did that same thing, and it just was not, it was
oversaturated.
Yeah, and oversaturated. And now they're trying to scale that to the right thing, but so I bought them a couple shares of the thing. And I'm like, well, GameStop it was a cheap stock. I bought him a couple shares of it. Bought her a couple shares of Starbucks, and then I'm looking at it, and then I was looking at something, and I was like, man, wait, this can't be right. So, I thought there was an error, because I really wasn't looking at the GameStop thing, because it was not on our radar at all.
Yeah.
And I'm like, couple, not even a couple hundred, but I think it was $120, like grew to like 1,000. Like, I said, that can't be right. Something's wrong. And then, no, it was right. That price jumped up there, man. And we and I was like, oh, I gotta sell a couple of these, because I mean, I'm not, I mean, it ain't gonna get any high. And then people are like, hold on to it. So then I started looking into the story, and a lot of places had short positions in it, because everybody was betting that stock was going to tank, and they were going to put that price on somebody. Yeah, that's just what they were doing. Yeah. And some people got in there, and they start, our generation are gamers. Like, I mean, I still play PlayStation. A lot of people still do. And then my son plays PlayStation, and people are gamers. So it was somebody had to tell them that had to know that there were all these short positions on GameStop, and it just so happened to be nostalgic to where everybody's like, I'll buy some GameStop. It was like what I did. I'm like, oh, okay, GameStop, it's a video game company. It's about, and then it just shot up like that, and then it kept running. But if it's one thing that you'll see is when the wrong people lose enough money, they will shut it down.
Right.
You know, so where some people where I feel sorry for them because they threw couple $1,000 into GameStop, and then they turn around like, oh, hey man, my portfolio $500,000.
Yeah.
Let me cash out, and then that button is grayed out.
Yeah. And Robinhood is great out here.
It was, and and then it bankrupted the one hedge fund, but they went out and got a line of credit it was like 3 days later for like $1 billion. I mean, it was
Right.
capitalism at its finest, man.
Does Robinhood and other entities like that compete with a financial advisor's job?
Well, it does for the, like with me and for like younger people, like I can do it myself because I can get on there and do these things. But
Right.
in all honesty, I mean, yeah, you can do it yourself, but there's always someone such as myself that's behind the scenes that's got to pull the trigger on that. The financial world, you have to have, in order to trade in stocks and all those things, for someone to execute that trade, they have to have the licenses and things that I have. They got to have a Series 6, Series 7, a 66. They got to have some variable license, their blue sky licenses, and there's even some other ones to trade in some other things. So there's always somebody behind it. The danger in what we see with the Robin Hoods, the Acorns, and people saying they can do things themselves are people typically don't do like what I do for a living and look at the fundamentals of what's going on in the market, assessing what your risk is, weighing those things out against global research and seeing if it makes sense. They act on I don't want to say it's gambling, but it's along the same lines of, a lot of people have gambling problems because they go and they get on the crab table and they win $100 and then it feels good. So then
Right.
they're like, oh, I can keep doing these things. And that can happen in the stock market, especially when you're just trading, day trading on your own thing. The danger is that you get into something like, say there's some people that probably lost a lot of money on that GameStop deal. And like, unlike the hedge fund that went out and got another line of credit, and 3 days later, the average man could be just, ass out here.
Yeah.
And that can happen very quickly because the market turns a lot faster now than what it used to.
Right.
Because of things like Acorn, Robinhood, people
Right.
putting having automatic triggers on their accounts and things of that nature.
Right. The retail traders.
Yeah, it used to be you want to make a trade or something, you call someone such as myself, be like, hey, look, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think? And then we look at something and we're like, well, maybe you should do this. Or yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Okay, we'll execute it. We pick up the phone and call somebody and execute the trade. Now that whole cycle happens within seconds. So what ends up happening, you'll see these huge dips and these huge spikes in the market. And it's all because of, people are trying to catch up and stop the automatic triggers all the time. Like, wait a minute, that's not that's not what happened. You can have the wrong person have a trigger on something that has a large enough position that it'll start setting off other triggers, and it'll create huge dips in the market. Now
Right.
that creates some opportunities for some people, but I mean, for the average person, I mean, you could really, lose some serious money. It's why I'm against privatizing Social Security, because it just, like, oh, let those people just invest that money how they want. Like, no, let's not do that because
Yeah.
some people out there gonna get hurt by that.
Right. Right. Wow, man, you've really given us some insightful stuff to think about, man.
I got two questions. So we all have kids on here, and we all during the pandemic, I think Doug has probably been investing the longest, or I think Blast has some.
Nah, Doug had me beat.
Yeah.
Both
We
of
all,
y'all had me beat. Both of y'all had me beat.
Doug longer than all of us. All, you know what I'm saying, kind of hopped into, brokerage accounts, during the pandemic and investing and whatnot. And then it spun off into getting our kids into it. So we all have, kids who are older. And I have a son who just, entered the full-time working world. So I had him get a brokerage account. But if you was advising him as a 23-year-old who had, $200 a month to invest, what direction would you send him in?
Well, he's 23, so he's younger. So he's got a lot longer before he's going to be achieving retirement. The one good thing is if he's going to be in a brokerage account or something like that, and he's got $200 a month, he can systematically invest. So he's going to dollar cost average. I don't know if you guys are familiar with dollar cost averaging, what that is, but that just means you're investing a certain amount of money every month, whether market's up, down, sideways, flat, it doesn't matter. That'll be good for him doing that. I would have him probably, most young people like that, there's a couple ways they can go about doing it. If he wants to spread his risk out, he could pick a mutual fund or something like that he's adding to, that can grow, that's going to have limited fees and things of that nature on there. Actually, it's not a bad idea now with some of the Acorns and Robinhoods and E-Trades and those things that he can have those accounts, and then he can buy some things that he's interested in. Like, I don't know if he got on a Nike shirt, maybe he likes Nike. So every that 200, he's buying some Nike every month, whether it's up or down, and doing something like that. The most important thing I would say is just the discipline of investing or saving every month. That's the most important thing. A lot of people, including myself, I just didn't have the saving habits that I should have had a long time ago when I was, playing football and doing all types of other things. I mean, I had more spending habits than saving habits. So that's what I try to tell young folks. I mean, because it accumulates really fast. Especially it's like getting a snowball. Once it gets, as it gets bigger, it starts to roll down the hill, it keeps getting bigger, and then it's harder to stop. So I would, with him and all younger people, I would focus on the fundamentals and the discipline of doing it every month, because the investment piece, like I said, he could find an ETF with an exchange traded fund that's out here that mirrors one of the markets, or one of the indexes, or he get an index fund or something like that would be good for him. As he starts to grow it some more and it gets into, where he's got $10,000-$15,000 in there, he can start branching off into some other things to diversify across there. And then along the way, he's learning too. So as he's doing these things, he's learning, oh, I got this. I kind of like it, but I want to try something different. So then he can be moving on and trying something different as he gets older.
Appreciate that.
That makes sense.
The discipline, though, the discipline of doing it every month, because he'll forget about it. Like if he's in an entry level job, he's making $30,000 a year or something, and he's putting $200 a month away. After 6 months, he's not even going to notice it's gone. And then every time he gets a raise, he should take a piece of that raise and then add to what he's doing every month, because he ain't even gonna know that it's gone. It's like you force habits, like the recessions. What companies found out about recessions are they can lay off a bunch of people they pay too much and hire 2 people to do the same job that they were doing at half the price. And then what people have found is, oh, I made $100,000. I can actually make it on 50. And you just learn to live within your means and everything. And then if you're saving, you're not gonna miss it. And then he'll turn around and then all of a sudden he got $150,000 and he's not even gonna know where it came from, and it's just from discipline.
Yeah.
And that reminds me of the Kawasaki, the Rich Dad Poor Dad, where you pay yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
Pay yourself first. So whatever you, I don't care if you're getting, $100 a week, pay yourself $25. Then just keep that going. So I think that discipline part is crucial. That something that we need to really bestow onto our children, instill in them. If you're gonna start it, don't stop. Don't stop. Well, we don't want to keep you, John, man. We really appreciate your time. Anybody around the Dayton area, Cincinnati, where are you able to help people all around Ohio, or?
Oh, I can help people in all 50 states and U.S. territories. I got a Blue Sky license, so
Yeah.
all you gotta do is Google me, man. If they put in John Lumpkin financial advisor, all my stuff will come up, and then you can you can set appointments. You can call me. My website is really informative. So if you look at my website on there, it's really informative. And like I say,
also want to applaud you for what you're doing for the West Side. The not gentrification, but you know what I mean. But the building of the West Side, man. So I applaud you on that. And you and your brother are very, heavy in the community. So you're really holding down that community activism, saying pretty well. So I appreciate you all staying in Trotwood and and holding people accountable. Really, I think that's what's happening right now, holding people accountable in Trotwood to make sure we get businesses back in Trotwood and they respect that black dollar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate it, man. We're trying to do something, man. We like I said, we bought that building down there on West 3rd. I mean,
right.
My family first came to Dayton. That's where they came. My family is located right down the street from there.
Right.
My brother still lives in Trotwood, trying to do some things out there. We're just trying to get people to understand that, our community, man, spans beyond some of these political boundaries and things. And, you look around here, like the five of us, man, they don't care where we live or anything like that. They're like, our community, they're like, oh, we're all one and the same if we walk into a room somewhere else. But together, man, we can do some things really, really powerful. If we stick together, we circulate our dollar in our community. We support one another and we don't run from one another. Like, I'm big on not having to not be around anybody that looks like us for me to quote unquote feel like I've made it. We need to understand that there's people like us. I mean, if our neighborhood consisted of all brothers like us and our families and things of that nature, and then we start to bank in our own community, it'll be back like how it was at Black Wall Street, man. I mean, that's an Indian, for those who don't know that story, because history is told by the victors, not by the oppressed.
Exactly.
That community was a community within itself where, we didn't have to go to a predominantly white institution and say, hey, can I get a loan, where they redline everything? Because we had black banks, we had commerce and everything in our community, and that's very possible to happen now. And not being anti-diversity or anything like that, is just being proud of who we are and what we represent, and understand that the black community in the United States, black people in the United States, are the 7th largest economy on the planet. And that's powerful, and we just don't recognize it.
I know that. That's big info.
I've been saying it for a while, man, is that and I was reading the other day, it looks like Dayton is going to come back with some form of lot links where you can buy the abandoned properties again and kind of pay the taxes at a reduced rate. But the areas like the old Miami Chapel area, Broadway and all that area, like right over there right by the river, over the bridge, like they showing you what they're doing. Like they're not hiding their cards. Like they coming for those properties. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if brothers can band together, not necessarily brothers, but brothers and sisters can band together, buy up those properties, they got to go through us. And if we don't sell, and if we, build our own and say, nah, y'all not coming over here. And, and not, once again, not to segregate anything, but there's opportunities for us to create generational wealth by buying land. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing that they don't make more of. It's real estate. You can't buy more real estate than what there is out there.
And I hate that we always have to, as black people, we always have to throw the disclaimer in, like we're not anti-diversity. Man, they've been anti-diversity. You know what I mean? We've been exploited. We've been exploited. So why not take that power back? So I don't think there's an apology necessary for doing what you two just mentioned. There's no apology. We don't have to say.
I
You
don't
know what I
think
mean?
there's an apology thing. It's just, my thing is this, like, and being here in Dayton, like I've gotten to the point to where, some people should just go because it's like they ain't gonna be, man, ain't nothing right. I can't do it. I'm like, you right. You should go to Atlanta. I'm just like, because they're not going to ever see anything different. There's something, and and it's okay for some people to just go, but you're absolutely right. I don't think that there's anything wrong with having pride in your community and doing something. um I also am one that, people talk about diverse neighborhoods and everything. And I'm like, I said, man, there's just neighborhoods that aren't Black yet. They're not Hispanic yet. They're not Asian yet. They're not wherever the predominant or the dominant culture has not fled from, to be away from all those other things.
Right.
The problem is when we don't own like things like real estate. Like the only thing that constantly appreciates is raw land. It never depreciates in value.
Right.
Raw land. Like the worst thing you can do with a blank piece of land is put a building on it, because then the building will depreciate the land. They can reset the price. But this, a lot of people don't know that. But Billy says, so, like with gentrification, like people are like, oh, gentrify this. And I was like, I said, you got to understand something. There's three things with the gentrification. I said, you can either be a participant, you can be a spectator, or a victim.
Yep.
And those are the three things you can be when it comes to gentrification. And people need to understand, this is not like like in Ohio, you really can't gentrify areas because the process is so long to take away somebody's property if they're property tax lien. It's not like in New York or something. New York, you don't pay property tax, they come get your stuff in 6 months. In Ohio, they can lien on your property forever, hope that, somebody wants to come and try to buy it. And then if you go and make a payment on it, then they got to wait another 2 years. Gentrification doesn't work like that. But then, the other thing is this, and I've cautioned this in the city of Dayton. I'm like, look, man, we have enough services. And I was like, I'm all for taking care of the less fortunate and everything. I said, you can't, you can judge the greatness of a society on how it treats its poor. Now, that's just the bottom line, but you don't just provide for the poor. I was like, we have so many services in the city of Dayton. Other cities literally send their people here because we have so many social services. Man, I was like, I said, we have to start asking the question. I'm like, I'm a financial advisor. I'm a stockbroker. My wife's an engineer. We live next door to a pastor. We live next door to a doctor and his wife, who's a doctor, who's the airport director. I'm like, when are we going to do something for us in the city? And they're like, well, that's just selfish. Is it? Is it selfish? I'm like, I'm not saying take something away that we already have, because we have enough social programs that literally they're sending people here to take advantage of them. My thing is, can we at some point start to build some amenities and things that cater to a middle class type of thing? Like down the street from me, there's a whole street where every household for above list price, and everyone on a 2-block thing, they all have advanced degrees or terminal degrees. They're all doctors. Either have master's degrees or doctorates. And we came to the meeting, they're like, we're tired of everybody saying on the west side is poor. We're not poor, we're all doctors. And I'm like,
right.
But they keep building low income stuff. Like when you drive through West Dayton, you see a Family Dollar and a Dollar General on every single block. You see a cell phone store, you see a fish shop. They're not building quality retail. And so people aren't taking pride in those neighborhoods. It's like, man, how many Dollar Generals do you actually need?
Well, here's the thing, Dollar General actually, because, full disclosure, I am long on some Dollar General. I like their business, their business model, because Dollar General finds what they do. Their business model is, where did like a big box, a Target, a Walmart, or a Meijer or something close? And they'll flank that place with as many stores so the buying power actually doesn't leave and they have much smaller footprints. Because, contrary to popular belief, Dollar General is not a dollar store.
Yeah.
It's in the wasn't it? It's in the
Yeah.
it's in the wasn't. Everybody thinks it's a dollar store.
No,
And they're all franchised too. Like you'll see Dollar Generals look completely different in some neighborhoods than what they do in others. But you're right. You see all these things, these Family Dollars, these Dollar Generals, but what they see that a lot of other people don't see are expendable dollars. They know, or not disposable income, but consumers. So they know that people in these neighborhoods consume. They know if they go out to affluent neighborhoods, these people don't spend as much, or they'll go to a Costco and they shop once a month. They don't live check to check. They're not constantly spending every 2 weeks. So they're very, very smart in how they have how they've done their thing. And when you say that people they don't take pride in the neighborhoods, the people who exist in that neighborhood don't take pride in them. The people who are coming from outside see opportunity. They don't see, they're like, I can buy a house here for $60,000. And it's got 4 bedrooms and 2,000 square feet and all of that. And then they fix the house up. Case in point, Wright Dunbar, right outside of downtown Dayton. All of our lives growing up, Wright Dunbar looked like nuclear winter. There was burn up buildings, everything's torn up over there. There was prostitutes walking in the alley. It was terrible. And and now the last house over there sold for $290,000, and it sold 3 days after they put it up for listing. No house over there can stay on the market. If you list a house right now, it'll have 5 or 6 offers before the end of the week above this price, and that's in a place that was destitute. Now, how many of us are buying over there? None. So all wasn't it. Wright Dunbar has gone from a historically Black neighborhood of homeowners, and at one point in time where Fifth Street in Dayton was the most affluent place for Black individuals, to now it's predominantly white. 60% white neighborhood. People parking over there in West Dayton off West 3rd Street in Teslas. Yeah. And then I got some people, friends of mine, I gotta get out of here. And I'm like, okay, go.
That's when you want to hold.
One would think.
Want to hold.
I'm saying you should go. You should go.
Yeah, there you go. I'm like, you're correct.
You go to Atlanta.
But don't complain about it. I was like, man, because I had someone tell me, like, oh, the white folks, they selling all the houses to the white folks. I'm like, houses go for sale. Anyone can buy them.
Yeah, they selling to the green.
Yeah, they selling the money.
And it ain't like it was like, it's not like it was a neighborhood that was just, already like that. I'm talking about ridiculous blight.
Yeah.
And crime. And ridiculous. And now it's one of the hottest neighborhoods in the city.
I mean, you can buy lots like in that, probably not that specific area, but like I said, right off the river. Like I've seen lots listed for like 900, 1,000. And like you said, it's just land. You know what I mean? Like, and so your property tax on that gonna be like $60 a year. Like it's a great investment. You just wait for people to start building and then build your own when it comes. I live here in Nashville, and I live in a gentrified area. I mean, this used to be, from what I heard, it used to be the hood. I mean,
where you live?
I live in Germantown.
Okay, what's the name? Because my mom, my mother, not my grandmother and all of them, they were over in Edgewood, which gentrified. I mean, the house was like, 800 square feet. They tore it down and built a $780,000 ridiculous house with a view of the skyline.
Yeah, it's what they do down here. So I'm in the housing market right now. So I'm, on Zillow and Redfin, and like, being from Dayton, I never thought in my wildest dreams I would be searching for houses that are 300,000. You know what I'm saying? But that's the entry point. You know what I'm saying? The median housing price in Nashville is $330,000.
Yeah.
So I was on Redfin the other day, and I put in my price point, and I was like, oh, a house for $250,000. I was like, oh, sweet. Where is it at? It was blank land. It was a piece of land.
Oh, wow.
And it was a piece of land in my neighborhood. So that means I get the land for $250.
Yeah, and then you still got to build.
I still
Yeah.
gotta put a house on it. So you upwards. So even all the new construction,
You could put a double wide on it, man.
I mean, you probably
Hey, I'm telling you, what used to be my grandparents' house. The lot that they had, they built 2 houses on it.
that's what they do here.
Yeah, that's what they do. And I was trying to tell my uncle and all them before. I said, don't sell it. Sell half your lot.
Yeah.
I said, because then they're gonna build on that other lot, take the proceeds from that, build the house you want. I said, because then instead of selling your house for $300,000-$400,000, you can sell that bad boy for like $1 million. You're on a double lot.
Right.
And and they just took all those people over there, man. And I was just like, I said, man, I was like, y'all don't understand. Like, it was 9th Avenue South. I'm telling you, walked out of my grandparents' house and you had a panoramic view of the skyline of Nashville. I said, man, this neighborhood is a fortune. I was like, y'all don't understand what you're sitting
Crazy,
on.
man. It's crazy. I live right off of Rosa Parks in Jefferson by the baseball stadium, and there's not a single house. Well, one, there's no houses available in Germantown, but I mean, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Like, you got to have at least 750,000 to even remotely try to get a 3 and 2. Condos.
So if they keep gentrifying, are they going to change the name of Rosa Parks to somebody else, man?
That'd be an uproar, bro.
No, they don't do that, because even in Harlem, they still got, like, the funniest thing ever, man. I'm like, I see all these white families playing in Marcus Garvey Park. I'm like, wow.
It's
Marcus Garvey rolling
the thing is,
Hey, that's what's up, Marcus Garvey.
he's rolling around right now.
Right.
it's like a cool factor to live on those streets, man. Like, I deal with.
But people who are coming in those communities are pretty liberal anyway. So you would probably know that they're pretty understanding of
Well, they know what it is. It's cool for them, but I tell you, they're liberal until the neighborhood starts to look like us, and there's only one of them left. I mean, don't be fooled. It's because the liberal North is the most segregated schools now. Yeah. Liberals like, yes, equality, as long as it's not next to me.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll fight for you as long as you stay over
there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but think about this. This is something, being from Dayton, that I never thought I'd see. A condo, and not a condo, a whole row of condos in downtown Dayton.
Yeah.
Downtown Dayton, Ohio, selling for $500,000 plus.
I've seen that craziness, man. I was like, this is
they can't build them fast enough. I mean, every time they build one, it's sold.
Man, that's the thing. So that's why you got to start looking at, like, what's the street that goes over to right out of downtown, goes over to into
Patterson.
I'm sorry, goes over to like Parkside and all that.
That Patterson Boulevard.
Yeah, that's Webster.
Yeah,
Webster. Yeah, they already bought that. The Croc Center over there is new and all that stuff. And then they just kicked DMHA people off of there on the other side of the park. And I said that when Parkside was there. Like, I've always been I was an economics major in college and everything. But I said, man, because I played AAU for Parkside. So, went to camp over there at Parkside and all that stuff. And I'm like, as a teenager, I was like, why did they put these projects here with this view of downtown? It makes sense. I was like, this is, and then, they were like, why do we have these projects here with this view of that? Y'all are out of here. And they tore, and it's vacant right now.
So it's just open space over there?
It's just open space. And
but weren't projects at one time just regular old luxury apartments? You know what I mean? Were they always?
They were transitional housing, because so many people were migrating here from the South for the manufacturing jobs. And they were supposed to be transitional housing. Like the Soda Baths was supposed to be transitional housing. Arlington Courts, all these places were supposed to be transitional. So you come in, you get your job, you get established and leave. But then there was no regulations or anything to make people have to move out of them. So they're like, man, I come up here, I got this middle-class job. I'm paying $6 a month in rent. Ain't moving out.
Yeah, I'm staying.
But then what ends up happening is the parents made that money. The kids did not. They stay in there generationally. They don't make middle class money, and then they become impoverished, and then now they're still there.
Right.
And you know, and I've been a long time fighter like against concentrating poverty. And then you know, me and one of the commissioners had, you know, we were just at odds at this one thing. And he was like, well, you know, they're gonna tear down DeSoto Bass and they're gonna reduce the number. I was like, man, you can't. I mean, they said reducing the number of housing people in the housing projects doesn't make it not a housing project. And I said, and I'm not knocking people that came from DeSoto Bass. I said, there are plenty of great people that have come from DeSoto Bass. I said, but they came from there in spite of their situation, not because of it. I said, we got to understand. I said, there's prosperity and poverty have one common trait. And if you concentrate them, they will spread. I was like, you put another housing project, you've doomed a 3-mile radius from, you know, is going to, I mean, because there's no disposable income, there's no rooftops or anything like that. You just doom the whole area. I was like, and he said, no, you got it. So we went back and forth, and I said, well, I tell you what, because I know he and his wife. I said, you go and you tell your wife, y'all going to build your new house across from the new DeSoto Bass, and let me know how that let me know how that jumps off.
Well,
let
I mean,
that conversation goes.
The stigma remains, especially when you call it low income housing. That's the stigma that sticks. And that stigma, unfortunately, carries the idea of, you know, blight and drugs and crime. You know what I mean? There's some pride in ownership, regardless. So if you have renters, you're going to have a different type of community versus ownership, and that's just, you know, I mean, it's factual.
You can't, yeah, that's factual, but you also can't put. Like I'll give you an example down the street. Before we built this house, we built our house in the city, but right down the street on Philadelphia is where we live. So we were all homeowners, nice houses, Dayton View Triangle. We had some renters next door to us. Dude never cut his grass. Now, I didn't know where he'd come from or anything, but we were all cutting our grass. He wasn't cutting his grass. He also wasn't taking his trash out. So I went and had a conversation with him. I said, hey, man, I said, I just want to have a discussion with you. And we were out on the sidewalk. And he's like, yeah, what's going on? I said, I want you to look up and down the street. And so we're standing there looking. I said, you notice anything? And he was like, man, my grass is, I said, when do they come cut the grass? I'm like, they don't. You have to cut it. I said, now, if you want to use my lawnmower, I said, that's fine. I said, because here's the thing, man. Nobody riding past you talking about how bad your yard is. I said, they're riding past you and be like, man, look, you live next to that messed up house right there with the grass ain't cut. I said, so now they talking about me. I said, then the other thing, I said, man, you got to take your trash out. He was like, well, they haven't come to pick it up. I said, you haven't rolled it out. And I said, and he was like, well, you know, so.
But you're talking about the learning curve. There's a learning curve. So that it has to happen.
But then I was telling, you know, now I could have been like, you know what, we out. Put this, you know, the sign up in our yard. But then I was trying to, you know, help this dude. So he cut his yard a couple times. Then he came, you know, they moved. He was like, man, y'all want too much over here. And I'm like,
you should go.
Go to Atlanta. You should go to Atlanta.
You should go to Atlanta.
Yeah, you should go. I mean, it was like, you know, but if we didn't have those homeowners there, you know, and come to find out, he had actually come from DeSoto Bass. So that's where he had come. But if you don't have those homeowners there to tell somebody, like, hey, man, you got to, and then some people are going to decide that's not what they want to do. They, you know, that ain't for them.
Yeah.
But man, if you concentrate that.
So what was he doing with his trash?
Oh man, dude. I came out back because I had a you know, privacy fence, but I'm 6'8", so I could see over it. Man, they had all the trash was in the what's the name, in the sunroom out back. And I was like, oh man, the neighbor on the other side was like, hey man, he said they about to have rats. And I said, what? So I looked
y'all about to have rats.
Right, because rats don't have, you know, they going wherever they, you know, so that's where he had, man, it was ridiculous, man, but he didn't know. So I wasn't mad at him for not knowing, but I am mad at you if you now you know and you don't want to do anything about it.
Still don't do it.
And you know, that's what, you know, but
that's the whole concept of socioeconomics. You know what I mean? Socially, he wasn't there. Economically, he was able to rent, but not own.
Right.
Socially, he was a renter, thinking that he wasn't responsible for anything that a homeowner would be responsible for. So, you know, I don't know if that's an opportunity to teach people, but you know, that happens a lot. You know, you have people moving out to the suburbs, and the dynamic of the suburb they try to fit into, and I'm gonna use the word assimilate. They have to assimilate. You all were wanting that guy to assimilate into your norms, and he wasn't able to. You're
Right.
always going to have that, you know, and it's frustrating, but you know that's just something that I guess we have to deal with.
But you just can't concentrate it, man. Like you got, like I told him, I said the Soda Bass had, I think, 225 houses or 225 units. That's what it has right now because they still haven't shut it down. Man, we have what 38,000 vacant properties across the city of Dayton. 38,000. I'm like, why would we rebuild? I said, you take one of those and put it in one place. You take one and put it in another place. And you surround it with people who can help change it, because you can't change 200 homes if you put them in with that mentality with someone like even someone such as myself. But if you put one or two of those homes in a neighborhood of 200 people, then it's like, well, wait a minute. I probably should cut my grass. Or you're going to have some people that they should just go. And I mean, we have to understand, we have to accept that in society. Yeah. There's some people that are just not going to be, and we can't do that. It's, you know, our society, we got to save everybody, and you can't. It's you can't. Some people are, you just can't.
Yeah. Well, I feel we can go on and on. I feel we can go on and on about this topic. Maybe we should have a part 2, man. So this would be part 1. Part 2 would be, you know, going into the real estate climate of, you know, inner city, because that's a whole nother, you know, conversation. But again, man, we want to thank you, John, for giving us your time. We know it's getting late. And anything else, fellas, that we can, as we wrap this up?
Yeah, man. You know, y'all go online, check out Lump, like he said, check out his website, look him up, John Lumpkin. You know, check him out. He might be able to help you with your situation.
And tune in next time for more, you know, real estate tips as we embark in another episode of Hops and Stocks. So, hey, John, man, you know, salute to you and what you're doing for the community. Salute for everything, man, and we'll be in touch, man.
Hey, John, since this is it, man, I just want to say you should go.
I can accept that. That I can accept, man.
Hey, you gave us a new catchphrase, man. We're gonna be using that all over the place, man.
Y'all gonna use that with a neighbor. Somebody gonna be crazy. You gonna be like, they'll be like, man, this place is crazy. Blah blah. You be like, you right. You should go.
Hey, man, John, you're always welcome to the Hops and Stocks.
Welcome back anytime, man.
And we'll let you know where you can hear this latest episode. And yeah, thanks, man.
Appreciate y'all, brothers, man. Y'all be easy, man. If y'all ever need anything, just let me know, man.
All right.
No, man, we definitely gonna have you back.
Yeah.
All right.
You should go.